Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. The Health Department says the Philippines is now at low risk for COVID-19. However, the agency warns that the country is still prone to a sudden increase in cases. To discuss these developments, we have JC Cosico joining us live from Mandaluyong. JC, good afternoon. Could you tell us the basis for the DOH's latest pronouncements?
Charles, the DOH attributed this after the country recorded a decrease in its two-week growth rate and average daily attack rate. But the agency says we should still not let our guards down as possible COVID-19 case increases are still possible as a -9 two-week growth rate is still considered low. Charles.
All right, could you tell us which specific regions in the country are still higher risk and why this is so?
Charles, among the regions that are considered high risk include regions 11, 6, 12, and 8 after it recorded a positive TWGR and average daily attack rate. Charles.
Right, so could you tell us whether there are any regions that are at high risk in terms of hospital capacity, JC?
Charles, the Health Department says there are no region in the country that are currently at high risk in terms of healthcare utilization. But in regions 11, 6, and 2, their ICU beds are now at high risk. Charles.
Right, then which specific areas are currently seeing surges in cases? I understand that this is not isolated. Right, JC, can you hear us? Could you tell us which specific areas are currently seeing a surge in cases?
Charles, again, among the regions that are experiencing a surge in cases include regions 6, 11, 12, and 8 after they recorded an increase in terms of their two-week growth rate and average daily attack rate. Charles.
Right, JC, one last question. Could you tell us about the numbers in Visayas and Mindanao? There was a previous surge in cases over there. Are numbers finally declining?
Charles, the Health Department said that the number of COVID-19 cases in the Visayas and Mindanao are decreasing as we speak. In fact, in regions or all regions in Mindanao except for Region 11 are in a downward trend. Charles.
Thanks for that. That was JC Cosico reporting live from Mandaluyong. The recent study on Moderna's efficacy versus the Delta variant only had a sample size of 8 people. But an expert from Johns Hopkins believes these small studies are important on the world's race to stop the spread of the Delta variant. Let's hear more from Bloomberg News.
And the hope is that we'll continue to really dig into the data over the next few months to understand how the coverage is going, with especially with the Delta variant, which is absolutely gaining strength across the globe. You know, I think these small studies are helpful because it's what we have, right? So it's better than nothing for sure. We definitely want to see more data from the CDC as they continue to look through their breakthroughs. I would love to see a publication from the CDC on what their breakthrough data is showing, perhaps pushing towards some new vaccination strategies to build protection. But these small studies are what we're going to have to keep looking at as we continue to inch towards better coverage with the vaccines and the growth of the Delta. It's sort of a race right now.
If the key factor is the unvaccinated, do you just assume Delta variant could be highly regional or even rural, urban?
Yeah, I think it's that unvaccinated, and I think a lot of us are concerned about what might happen with that single-dose vaccinee population. So we did see some good data from Pfizer. We think Moderna is going to be protective. It's the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, people who've had that single-dose vaccine. And so perhaps there will be some changing vaccination strategies. We're seeing this in other countries where they might get a booster, like someone who got J&J might get a booster of another vaccine, for example. Or also chasing down the people who have only gotten one of their doses and making sure that that second dose regime is being followed. But yeah, those pockets of unvaccinated individuals, we're going to really have to focus efforts on the regional areas where we see low vaccine so that we don't have pockets of large groups of people getting sick and ending up in hospitals and those hospitals being overrun.
Lauren, I just want to get a final word from you on the data you're focused on right now, a case study maybe in the UK or Israel for that matter. I was going through the UK's recent data, a little more than 20,000 new COVID cases and 23 deaths within the last 28 days of a positive test. Lauren, your take on the data that you're seeing out of the UK, out of Israel and elsewhere?
Yeah, I think we're just starting to see we definitely are seeing that the Delta variant is more transmissible. We're just starting to see the difference in what the symptoms look like, the difference in the severity. I would love to see more data on that. I think it's great that they're releasing these studies quickly, as quickly as they get them, essentially. But it does look like it might be more severe. We just have to wait and see what the data show on that severity and do all of the hard public health work that has to continue to happen to reduce the likelihood of spread and infection of Delta.
Senator and PDP Laban President Manny Pacquiao warns his party mate Secretary Alfonso Kusi to follow the laws and protocols of their party. In a radio interview, Pacquiao said that the July 18 National Assembly, which was called for without his go-ahead, is illegal according to party rules. Recall that Kusi also lambasted Pacquiao for his recent criticism on the Duterte administration. The Energy Secretary told the lawmaker to leave the party if he wants to openly challenge party chairman and President Rodrigo Duterte. But Pacquiao reminded Kusi that PDP does not stand for President Duterte party. He pointed out that the party actually belongs to Senator Kiko Pimentel, who Pacquiao says is supportive of his presidential ambition. In fact, Pacquiao said he is confident that he can secure support from at least half of the party's general membership. In response, Kusi said there's nothing illegal about the National Assembly, and it was not a personal decision, but an official party action. He urged Pacquiao to attend the said assembly so that he can air his grievances before the proper forum. Calabarzon police is placed on alert should there be a need to evacuate residents in case the situation at the Taal volcano worsens. PNP Chief Guillermo Elizar said police units should start coordinating with LGUs on how to assist residents affected by the volcano's continuing state of unrest. Local police in the Calabarzon region are also tasked to monitor developments of Taal volcano's activity as it continues to emit sulfur dioxide. Alert Level 2 is currently hoisted over Taal volcano, which means steam-driven or gas explosions may occur according to PHIVOX. Bill Cosby has been released from prison less than 2 hours after Pennsylvania's highest court overturned his sexual assault conviction. After spending more than 2 years in prison, the court said he never should have faced charges after striking a non-prosecution deal with the district attorney more than 15 years ago. The 83-year-old was found guilty of drugging and molesting former basketball player Andrea Constant. Over 50 women have likewise come forward to publicly accuse the actor and comedian of sexual assault. And despite this conviction, Cosby's lawyers said his imprisonment for almost 3 years was unjust, given the agreement struck by his legal team, stating that Cosby would not be charged in the case.
He knew all along he never should have been prosecuted for this. He had every right to rely on the prosecutor's word. And they pulled the rug out from underneath him because of politics, because of the court of public opinion, and that is not how our system should operate. Absolutely. When that happens, there cannot be a just sentence. And if there had been a just verdict and a just sentence, we wouldn't be here fighting.
And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us again later at 2 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.